What's up, guys?
How's it going? Welcome back to the On the Move podcast.
I am your cool guy, Jason.
And I'm your other cool guy, Dylan.
No, I'm cooler.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Screw.
I could be less cool guy, Dylan.
That works.
Okay, cool. So today we're talking about the NFL free agency. Today is the 19th as we're recording this, and a lot has happened so far.
Especially with the Bears.
Yeah, so
They're garbage.
we're going to get into it. Jason took down some notes, and we're going to be chatting about it.
I think these are the best notes we've ever had.
This is a prepared episode.
All right, so I guess we should get started then.
We should get started then.
Well, how's your day going, first of all?
It's a good day. It's a Friday, you know.
TGY Friday.
This is going out on a Friday, so we're recording this today.
Like always.
It's a
last minute podcast.
Here we go.
Professionals here. All right, I guess we should start with the NFC North, aka the Chicago Bears.
All right.
That's our home squad. Very bad home squad.
The home division. Our team, the Bears. All right, what happened this free agency with the Bears?
The biggest headline of the week was Andy Dalton signing a 1-year contract for $10 million.
Interesting.
I think this is a bad move.
I think it's like Teddy Bridgewater last year, but worse.
But Teddy Bridgewater is a much better quarterback.
Teddy Bridgewater brings more, but I think for what was going around his range, people like Ryan Fitzpatrick, possibly Sam Darnold still on the table. I don't love that move either.
I prefer Sam Darnold. He's just got more upside than Dalton.
Yeah, we don't know what Sam Darnold's gonna do, what the Jets want to do, what Robert Saleh has seen in his roster yet. So
we'll see.
We'll see. I don't love the move either. Obviously,
I don't think it would be the only move we make on QB. If so, the season's done already.
Yeah, I mean, it's Andy Dalton, and Trubisky isn't even competing for a job because he moved on. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, so that's fun.
The Red Rifle is coming to Chicago. Well, at the moment, he is in Chicago.
He's in Chicago. He was promised to be the starter.
He won't.
I feel
they
bad.
said the same thing about Mike Glennon a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
When we drafted Trubisky.
It gives me Mike Glennon vibes.
All right, so the second biggest thing is that Allen Robinson signed his franchise tag.
Fun. Franchise tag, $18 million, I believe it was.
Yeah, it was like 18 point something.
Good. He'll be here for another year. Hopefully that helps out.
A trade.
Yeah.
But I don't think anybody's willing to pay $18 million for a wide receiver
especially this year. It's
with the cap.
With the cap being as low as it's ever been, or the lowest it's ever been, I should say. It'd be interesting.
Well, this is a big move by the Chicago Bears, is that we signed Patrick Scales, or we re-signed Patrick Scales, our long snapper. Very exciting news. This is what I wanted. This is a priority. We got it done, and he's ours.
Yes.
No one else's.
Sweet. The best long snapper in the game.
Obviously. Have you ever seen a bad long snap from him?
All pro long snapper. All those doinks in Chicago years ago, they weren't Patrick Scales' fault.
No. All right, this is a pretty interesting move. We got, how do you say that? Angelo Blackson, defensive linebacker.
Yeah.
I heard he had a productive year in Arizona last year. Nothing too crazy. But I trust Ryan Pace in that D-line. He's been very good at building that up in terms of talent.
A good depth piece, rotational kind of guy. He'll be productive.
But of course,
it's our D-line.
Yeah.
So it's hard to get a starting spot in that spot.
We'll talk about our D-line a little bit later once again. Buster Screen was released, which was an obvious move. It saves us money. He
got burnt a lot last year.
He played okay last year, nothing special.
Yeah.
It was time for him to move on.
With Buster Screen, we signed Deion Bush as well. We re-signed him, so that's kind of a 1 and 2. I feel like they're kind of on the same level. So if we still have that safety from Houston, then I see Deion Bush moving to the nickel.
Yep.
There.
I can see that, but we'll have to find out.
We'll see.
Okay, so we've learned more about the Russell Wilson situation here in Chicago. Do you think a deal can still be done?
No. Russell Wilson's staying in Seattle. It was a long shot in the first place. We were a lot closer to getting a deal than I ever thought we would be.
Yeah.
Which is definitely saying something. We were super desperate. We gave them everything we could, and then Pete Carroll came in and said, "Nah, this ain't happening."
Yeah.
So we shot our shot.
I know Adam Schefter believes that it's not like a closed deal. Like there's still.
Well, there's obviously still possibility. Anything's possible, but it's going to cost a lot to get Russell Wilson.
But I think it's worth it to get a franchise quarterback.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And how Ryan Pace drafts in those late rounds.
Yeah, I don't mind giving up first-round picks for someone like that.
Because first-round picks don't always work out.
Yeah,
Kevin White.
The first round is like always the hardest to strike on because they always have like the biggest
hype,
and the most eyes on them. So it's always not always a bad idea, but it's easier to draft in the later rounds. At least for our team, it seems like.
We can draft everywhere except the first round.
Exactly.
We already touched on this subject. Trubisky signs with the Bills. He's probably going to be a back. Oh, he is a backup.
He will be a backup for Josh Allen.
I think he fits the system pretty well. He's mobile like Josh Allen.
He's big. He's got a decent arm. I'm not saying Josh Allen level, but he's definitely got an above average arm strength.
I think it's just average, but okay.
And I think if anywhere can fix him, it's there. I mean, look at what they did with Josh Allen. Yeah. I know he's a different specimen, but I don't know. They've obviously got a good quarterback room there. So
now this is one I'm pretty happy about. Carlos Santos is coming back.
Carlos Santos, elite kicker. He only missed like one extra point last year.
He missed a couple at like the very beginning of the year. He was amazing.
Elite.
Patterson is a free agent this year, and if we don't get him back, that's not good. I love Patterson.
Patterson's he's a lot more of like a face and like a locker room leader.
Yep.
He's definitely a playmaker still.
With that, especially in kickoff returns.
Kick returns, yeah. I love having a good kick returner on the team because it makes that level of the game so much more exciting. But I can see us not signing him again. I think he's getting up there in age. He's around 30.
Is he?
I believe he's around 30 years old. But yeah, what else you got here? Jermaine Ifedi, O-lineman. He's coming back.
I'm not too happy, but you can do a lot better than Ifedi.
Another reason Russell Wilson didn't want to sign. They were together in Seattle for a little while, and yeah, we all know how he feels about. We all know how Russell Wilson feels about his O-line in Seattle. So,
although he says ours is emerging, I don't understand.
Me neither. Pat O'Donnell coming back, our punter. I like that. These are very just basic signings. These aren't very over the top. We won't go this much into detail for the other teams, but since we are Bears fans, we felt it was good to talk about this.
Patterson's 30.
Yeah, so Patterson being 30, he's still a good weapon. He's still athletic. He's not like it doesn't seem like he's fallen off that much. Nope. I mean, maybe like his days in Minnesota might have been a little bit more, but I don't think he's really lost a step too bad. Trading block wise, looks like Anthony Miller is on the trading block. You got written down here.
Yes, it's been not heavily rumored, but Adam Schefter tweeted something about him being on the trading block. Yeah, which I'm not surprised. He kind of had an off and on year last year.
He was primed to break out, and like us Bears fans do, we hyped him up a lot, and I kept on remembering really good catches and then just really obvious drops.
But then you also said Darnell Mooney stepping up.
Yeah, I mean, I won't be sad to see him go with Darnell Mooney.
Yeah,
coming into his own. Hopefully, we get a good receiver this year. This year's draft class looked really strong in receiver. So, who else on the trading block?
Akeem Hicks has been told that he can request a trade.
This is a big one.
He's another locker room leader.
He's probably our biggest locker room leader.
Mm-hmm.
He's like the heart and soul of that defense.
He brings so much energy to that field.
Yeah.
To that D-line.
If he leaves, I feel like the locker room is just not going to respect the coaching, and we're going to lose the locker room if he leaves. That's obviously that's worst case scenario, but I feel like that's a very realistic scenario.
Yeah. As of right now, he's not officially been released.
He's not officially requested a trade either.
So maybe there's a trade going on in the background that we don't know about. We'll just have to see.
Yeah. I feel like, and like my biggest thing is he's productive, but he's so much more valuable to our team than just his numbers. And it's so much more, like, I can't see us getting anything crazy valuable for him, picks-wise or players-wise, so I don't know why we don't just keep him. I feel like he would rework his contract. I feel like he's the kind of guy that might take a pay cut if we're willing to bring in someone like a Deshaun Watson possibly or a Russell Wilson possibly if those are still even on the table. So there's definitely more options to Akeem Hicks than just trying to trade him off, I think.
At the time of this, Kenny Galladay met with the Bears Wednesday night. It doesn't sound like he's going to sign. There's a report saying just a few minutes ago saying that talks between him and the Giants were really starting to heat up. Yeah. Of course, anything could happen. That could come to a halt all of a sudden. I'm just hoping. I would love to have Galladay on the team.
Yeah, he would definitely be a crazy wide receiver too. To Allen Robinson, if Allen Robinson plays, if he doesn't get traded, whatever.
Yeah, Allen Robinson, Kenny Galladay, and Darnell Mooney. That's one of the best cores in there.
That's definitely a better end of the league wide receiver core.
And then we recently signed Desmond Trufant.
Desmond Trufant,
yes.
Desmond Trufant, cornerback. He was from the Lions.
I believe he's a good starter.
He's a starting caliber corner.
Not Kyle Fuller, of course.
He's nowhere near Kyle Fuller. We don't know what's happening with Kyle Fuller yet. He's probably going to get traded as of now. That looks like that's the
possibility
direction that this is all going in. I mean, he was released, and then he wasn't released. And now he's on the trading block, and he's probably going to get traded somewhere. I just hope we get some value out of him. I know we're paying him a lot this year, so it's going to bring his value when it comes to return down, like what we're going to get from him, or when we're going to get out of him. We're just going to bring that value down, since we got to pay him so much. But I hope that we at least get maybe a second, or maybe if we pair that with one of our picks, we can maybe trade move up or whatever. We'll see. I think he's a very good starting corner. He's probably like a top 15 corner in the league. He's a good teammate. He's not, braggadocious. He's not a diva. He's just a good player. He's very good at his job.
All right, moving on to the Green Bay Packers, aka the Cheeseheads.
I think their offseason moves for me. I disagree with a lot of their offseason moves. I'll let you say what happened.
All right. So first of all, the first one I got written down is Aaron Jones signs a 4-year contract.
This was very team friendly. He definitely took a pay cut to play with the Packers compared to other teams, but I feel like with the limited amount of money that the Packers have, to me, he wasn't their primary need.
Yeah, we're gonna get to
the next players.
The second. I think a really important one is that Corey Linsley,
their center, all-pro center last year. Very important piece to that O-line. The O-line is the production of the running back. You just drafted A.J. Dillon last year. He kind of showed up big in that Titans game, I remember, in the snow.
Yep.
He's a stud. And it's really weird to me seeing that they drafted him, and they drafted Jordan Love the year before this year, and to re-sign Aaron Jones for that much money, and to let Lindsey walk, especially.
I'd rather have Lindsey than Aaron Jones.
Lindsey is way more valuable to me than Jones.
All right, we got Tim Boyle is gone. He's left the Packers. That means Jordan Love is moving up in the lineup, which I think that's pretty cool.
Interesting. He'll play in some preseason games probably. We'll see how he's looking.
If Rodgers gets hurt.
Yeah, we'll see. If Rodgers needs to get pulled out, or if they're winning by 30 points in the fourth quarter, we'll see some Jordan Love finally. What's next?
Williams walked.
Jamal Williams, the running back. RB2.
There's no way they're going to keep both running backs.
Yeah, and Corey Linsley. I think, to me, when ranking their offseason, leaving pieces, it was Linsley by, a tier above, and then it was Aaron Jones, and then a tier way below was Jamal Williams. Yep. I think he's their most replaceable running back. He's a very just downhill power kind of runner. He's not as much of a ball catching threat, I believe. And I think that
he's still good.
He's definitely a good. He's a good running back. He's a starter. He's a good caliber running back. But I think that the running back core actually improved this year. A.J. Dillon's going to get more reps. Yeah. I think he's a stud compared to Jamal Williams.
He had a great rookie year.
He had a great few games. His whole year wasn't crazy, but he had a good few games. I think Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon together, that running back duo, we see the Packers like to use two running backs quite a lot. They did it a lot last year. And I think it's going to be crazy this year. I
right.
think those two are a good match.
That's all I had written down for the Packers. I know they let Kevin King watch, which is no surprise.
Yeah, Kevin King got burnt in the NFC Championship
game.
a lot.
All right, moving on. The Lions, they were pretty busy this year.
Yeah.
The most notable one being the Goff and Stafford trade.
That's huge. To me, that's putting...
I mean, the Lions are even worse, which makes me pretty happy.
Yeah.
But then again, the Bears haven't gotten much better. So.
It's more huge for the Rams, which we'll talk about later, but the Lions, they're obviously trying to rebuild right now. They don't mind signing Jared Goff's huge contract, and they'll probably try and cut him or get rid of him for cheap at some point soon. And they got a lot of picks for him. Yeah. They got like 2 or 3 first-round picks.
2 first and a third.
That's pretty good to restart your franchise with, if you ask me.
All right, next they signed
Packers running back Jamal Williams.
I forgot I didn't have the contract written down, but
it's he's a serviceable running back. I don't know what's gonna happen with DeAndre Swift this year.
Didn't he play pretty well?
I do like DeAndre Swift a lot. He played pretty well. Other than that opening game against the Bears, he dropped that touchdown. After that, he was pretty lights out for me. He was very good this year. So we'll see what happens with Jamal Williams. I imagine it's more depth, and maybe they're trying to kind of save Swift from
Who's the other guy they signed last year?
Adrian Peterson?
Yeah. Was that only 1 year contract?
Yeah, I'm not sure where Adrian Peterson is this year.
Another big move. Kenny Golladay walks, which is their best wide receiver on that team.
By far. He's crazy, jump ball guy, huge catch radius. Route running could use some work, but contested catch rate, amazing.
Very explosive.
He's just a weapon, man. He's the throw it up and get it kind of guy. Which we'll see where he signs, but he's definitely going to improve the wide receiver room of wherever he goes.
All right, we got Marvin Jones.
Marvin Jones Jr., another very underrated, good receiver, just very solid guy. Very good wide receiver, too. He walked, and he signed somewhere else, but we'll get into that later. They
signed
Brockers.
From the Rams, defensive tackle.
Good defensive tackle, good signing. I like that. It's unfortunate they left the Rams, but...
They need to make space for Leonard Floyd's contract.
Yeah,
but we'll talk about that.
We'll talk about that in a bit.
We'll talk about that later.
Romeo Okwara.
I don't know much about that guy.
Just a good caliber defensive lineman. The Lions have a very underrated defensive line, especially with Brockers now. Their D tackle. They're building that, which is good to see. It's good for them.
Matt Prater.
Oh.
He walked.
Yeah, that's a big loss for them, I think.
We'll talk about him later.
He signed with the Cardinals, I believe. We'll get into the Cardinals in a bit, but that's a big loss for them. Losing a really good kicker like that is never a good thing.
I mean, we didn't have a good kicker, and it cost us a playoff game a couple of years ago. So
I mean, not that the Lions are close to the playoffs anytime soon, but it's good to lock in that position when you can. So we'll see what happens at the Lions kicking position.
All right, moving on to the purple... What is it?
People eaters.
Purple Peter eaters. Nailed it. Patrick Peterson, cornerback from Arizona.
Veteran guy, former All-Pro.
From what I heard.
I think he's still got the juice.
He's not as young as he used to be. But...
He's definitely lost a step. But in Arizona, he was asked to guard the wide receiver 1 of every single team. He shadowed that wide receiver 1 the whole game. Wherever he went, slot, boundary, left side, right side, Patrick Peterson was following him. So... If the Vikings, and I will say this, the Vikings have a lot of really young pieces on that secondary, and so a good veteran guy like that hopefully can mentor some of those guys, help coach those guys up. It's a good signing to me. $10 million for a starting caliber corner, a better end of the league.
Yep, it's a good thing they got Kirk Cousins on the other side of that ball. Was it Danielle Hunter?
Danielle Hunter. He wants a trade.
He is demanded a trade.
That would be a big loss for them. I think he's a super underrated edge rusher.
Yeah. He was injured all year, right?
He was injured for a good amount of the year.
Because I thought he got injured right before the season started.
Yeah, he did. It'll be a big loss, but I'm sure he just wants to go somewhere and win. And the Vikings, they're just really spotty right now. Like, their offense is good, but their defense can't seem to hold it together. And I don't know what the Vikings are doing right now. It's just they're kind of in the same boat as we are. Except the other side of the ball is better.
Who's that? Anthony Harris?
Anthony Harris, their safety. He hasn't signed anywhere yet.
I don't know how good he is, so I don't know.
He's pretty good. Harrison Smith and Anthony Harris are probably one of the best safety duos in the league. And if he left, that's a really big loss. But he hasn't really gotten any traction. No rumors, no reports anywhere. So will Anthony Harris sign a small deal to stay in Minnesota? Will he sign somewhere else?
We'll find out.
We'll see.
Kyle Rudolph has left the Vikings too.
Their tight end, Kyle Rudolph.
He was very good too.
Serviceable, good blocker, good catcher, just a above average, just good tight end.
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks to see someone like that go, but I imagine he wanted money. I imagine he wanted to win, so.
Yeah, he wanted to win.
All right. Next division.
NFC West.
We're staying in the NFC.
One of the up-and-coming teams. Or not up-and-coming, but a team that got a huge upgrade this year. The Rams.
The Rams.
They got the Matthew Stafford from the Lions, which I think perfectly fits the Rams. They were a QB away.
I agree with that. I think it's great for both sides. The Rams want to win now. I know they give a lot for Stafford. They give like 2 first-round picks in that third-round pick, like we mentioned earlier. But
with Stafford, they're Super Bowl contenders instantly.
I believe so as well. With that defense, with those weapons, with Sean McVay, it makes them Super Bowl contenders, and it's not like they've needed their first-round picks in the last 3-4 years anyways. So
they're another team that's very good at drafting late.
It's rounds. So I mean, their last first-round picks were Aaron Donald and Jared Goff and Todd Gurley. So, like, I don't really see them needing first-round picks
this year.
You know, it's not a huge exaggeration to say that they don't really need
All right.
it.
This is a pretty big one. Leonard Floyd, former Bears pass rusher, has signed a 4-year, $64 million contract.
He's good. I mean, he's good in their system. He was productive. He got a lot of one-on-one matchups with Aaron Donald just eating up the blocks on the inside. But, like...
I mean, you put any pass rusher in that line with Aaron Donald, and he's going to...
They should succeed, I should say. It's a lot of money, I think. It seemed like a lot of money. I think there were other edge rushers out there that I think... to them it is. I think there were a lot of other edge rushers out there, like Carl Lawson, like Carlos Dunlap is still out there, that could have done just as well in that system, maybe even better. But, you know, we'll see.
We mentioned this earlier. They lost Brockers to the Lions.
Yeah, Brockers, their defensive tackle. But, again, they'll probably just got another guy in the factory. And their biggest loss was their safety, John Johnson. The third.
He signed with the Browns, but we'll talk about
that later.
The Browns later.
John Johnson, huge loss for me. I think he's a very underrated part of that defense. I mean, you got Aaron Donald, you got Jalen Ramsey.
You got a good secondary. You're just missing a safety now. I don't know if they've signed anybody or who their backup is.
Yeah, we'll see. I think that to me, this seems a lot like what the Packers did, and they signed a flashy guy versus the guy that they needed more. Mm-hmm. Leonard Floyd, he gets the sacks. He, maybe gets a little bit more praise than John Johnson does, but I think John Johnson's a little bit more of an important piece. Just like how Corey Linsley may not get as much praise as Aaron Jones, but he was probably a bit more important to that team.
We're moving on to the 49ers, who I think had a really good offseason so far.
All right.
Their biggest signing being Trent Williams.
Woo!
Star offensive lineman.
He got paid. He got paid.
He got the money bags. He deserves it. I mean, if he's that good as people say he is.
Yeah. Trent Williams, he's just crazy. A really good left tackle.
That O-line is already good enough. They're just upgrading even more.
It's just a really important piece of the run game. I've seen some highlights of him like running down the field and just obliterating linebackers, safeties, defensive linemen. He don't care, man. He's just a really good left tackle, and it's good to lock one of those guys up for a long term like they did.
I know the Bears were interested in him too, but there was no way they were paying him for that much.
No way. What's next?
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
Wait, I think the Giants visited with free agent Kenny Diaz, Eddie. He's left there, but the team remains interested. It is very well.
All right.
They will stay in contact.
Looks like the Giants are going to be signing Kenny Galladay. It looks like it's not confirmed yet, but
it really does look like it.
They had a very good meeting with him.
Oh man, who would you rather have you throwing the ball to you, Daniel Jones or
Andy
Dalton? That's the top one.
Yeah, that's yeah. We'll see. He'll get paid there.
If not, come to the Bears, please. That'd be awesome.
They re-signed Kyle Juszczyk, their fullback.
They re-signed a decent amount of players.
Yeah, a lot of guys they just retained, which is really good.
Their team was already good enough.
Their team was very good. They were
hurt.
super hurt last year. Their whole defense was just obliterated by
and
injuries.
And their offense.
Yeah,
everything.
Yeah, their just whole team was just injury just haven. So they signed the center Alex Mack.
I don't know much about this guy, but
from the Falcons.
I heard he's good.
He's good. He's a good center. Nothing crazy. He was a lot better when he was a bit younger, but he's still serviceable. Good center.
They signed Jason Verrett re-signed Jason Verrett, cornerback, for a 1-year deal.
Jason Verrett, kind of a breakout year last year. Super injury prone.
Yeah. But their whole team was.
I mean, Jason Verrett, his whole career has been super injury prone. So we'll see how that goes. They need corners there real bad with Richard Sherman leaving in free agency. He hasn't signed anywhere yet, so I wouldn't be surprised if he came back to the Niners and tried to compete again. But we'll see. Jason Verrett, definitely a breakout player last year. Had some good plays, good interceptions.
We are moving on to Samson
Ebukam.
Yes, outside linebacker.
Will be another edge rusher, probably rotational guy. He's decent. I mean, he's worth noting. Worth Adam Schefter tweeting. So,
hey,
worth Adam Schefter posting about it. So.
About everything. Emmanuel
Mosley, a cornerback, another corner. He re-signed there. That's good.
Good player.
Yeah, just another good cornerback.
Moving on to the freaking Seahawks. I'm not too happy with them right now.
Shaquem Griffin.
Yes, Shaquem. Thank you. Walks. He's gone. He's signed with the Jaguars, but we'll talk about that when we get to the Jaguars.
Gerald
Everett.
Oh, Gerald Everett. He signed tight end from the Rams.
I wrote down good deal, so I guess they got a good deal on him.
They got a good deal on Gerald Everett, I believe so.
Russell Wilson is there for now.
He's staying.
Adam Schefter believes that there's still some hope he gets traded. I'm hanging on to that hope.
we hang on to hope here in Chicago. But yeah, that's the Seahawks. They really didn't do much. They lost Shaquem Griffin.
They traded for an offensive lineman from the Raiders too.
Yeah,
I don't know if they got rid of their whole line, but we'll get there later. Cardinals, they got J.J. Watt.
Yeah, that's a big move. That was like the beginning of free agency.
That was before free agency, actually.
Oh yeah, that before free agency. But yeah, another Houston star leaving to go to the Cardinals. He's following with DeAndre Hopkins leaving. He's definitely lost a step, but he's got his place in that defensive line. Him and Chandler Jones are just gonna be savages on that
defense,
on that D line.
We gotta play them next year too.
Yeah, that's fun.
Which is scary, especially with Andy Dalton as their quarterback.
Yeah. Good locker room guy. Hopefully they can draft somebody or have a young guy he can mentor. Just a really good. He's just a good signing, veteran player.
We got another big signing from them. They got AJ Green, Bengals wide receiver, who is pretty good. To have him and Hopkins.
I think AJ Green has totally lost his step. I don't think
he's still good. He's
not fallen off a cliff or anything, but he's just been hurt a lot toward the end of his career. He's aging. We got him and Larry Fitzgerald on the same team.
Has Fitzgerald retired yet?
I don't think Fitzgerald is retired yet.
Has he said he's coming back at all?
He hasn't said anything.
The fossil may return.
The fossil.
Patrick Peterson walks.
Yeah, we talked about that already.
Drake goes to
Kenyon Drake, the running back. He walked. We'll talk about the Raiders in a bit. We move
on to the Super Bowl champions. Just kidding. The Cowboys. They haven't won.
I had no clue where you were going with that.
They're not winning a Super Bowl anytime soon.
The NFC East.
They never do.
Here we go.
Dak Prescott is, the big headline.
Yeah.
He got paid.
Huge signing. It oddly felt like he really deserved that contract. Not oddly felt like he deserved it, but it oddly felt like the
After
contract
shattering his ankle.
The contract was like not as much like bad for the Cowboys as I thought it might be. A lot of this offseason has felt very much like work around the numbers, bend the rules kind of. A lot of signing bonuses being signed, and that's not really counting towards the salary cap. So it's really kind of shady work that the NFL seems like it's doing, but if it works, it works. We got to get smart, right?
Other than that, they retained most players.
A lot of their corners they signed to more deals, 2, 3, 1-year deals. A lot of retention. They don't have a lot of money to spend after signing Dak, so.
We're moving on to the high-flying Eagles, or they weren't so high last year. They were pretty low in their record-wise. Obviously, the big one is they traded Carson Wentz to the Colts for a second conditional and a third.
Third-round pick, second-round pick that could become a first-round pick, I believe, if Carson plays enough. It's not great losing a guy like Carson Wentz, but when you got a kind of quarterback controversy in Jalen Hurts and Carson, you gotta pull the trigger there sometime.
Especially with how Wentz played last year.
Yeah, I think a change of scenery for him will be really nice. I hope he can do well with Frank Reich, but we'll talk about the Colts in a bit.
We'll talk about that later.
Who else? What else happened?
Zach Ertz might be on the trading block.
Good tight end. Kind of his prime passed him. So he's a good veteran tight end. I think he could still play, but we'll see where he ends up going. If he's going to ring chase or if he's going to chase some money or if he's just going to retire. We'll see.
All right, moving on to the name redacted.
Washington football team.
Who still don't have a name.
They made the playoffs last year.
With Taylor Heineke.
Taylor Heineke carried them.
Heck yeah, I love that man. Best QB. No, not best QB.
He's not the best QB. We'll talk about the best QB later.
Yes, he's probably about number 4 best in the league, to be honest.
Yeah.
What a Tom Brady who?
Taylor Heineke.
Taylor.
Is he going to be the starter next year?
Of course.
Of course?
No, Fitzpatrick signed.
Fitzpatrick signed with the Washington football team. The Magic. They brought the Magic to Washington. Who else signed there?
Curtis Samuel.
I
wrote down good deal. Apparently his deal is very good.
It's a very good deal. A very good signing. He's back with Ron Rivera. He's a kind of wide receiver running back hybrid. He takes snaps in the backfield. He catches balls from the wide receiver position. He's just a weapon. Offensive weapon.
William Jackson, cornerback. Good deal.
He came from the Bengals, I believe. Starting caliber corner. Another piece to that defense, I should say. Sorry.
And then they used their franchise tag on Brandon Schefter?
Brandon Scherf. He's a guard, offensive lineman. Just good, solid starter. I think he might have made the Pro Bowl, or he was Pro Bowl honors, or
he was close.
He's a better end guard in the league, so that's good for them.
All right, we are moving on.
Last team of this dumpster fire division.
The Giants.
Oh.
Kyle Rudolph, tight end, has signed with them. Good move.
A good move.
Solid tight end.
Solid starting caliber tight end. Especially
Rudolph
with
the red-nosed reindeer has come to
New York. Evan Ingram wasn't that great last year. Dropped a lot of really bad passes.
Yeah.
Other than that, another good weapon for Daniel Jones if he wants to improve. If he feels like
he wants to stop fumbling the freaking ball.
Maybe Kyle Rudolph can block some edge rushers for him.
Leonard Williams, defensive line.
Leonard Williams.
I didn't put if he re-signed or signed.
He re-signed with the Giants. Very, very good defensive lineman. I'm glad he didn't go anywhere because that Giants defense is emerging. I think last year they showed some really good growth,
especially
towards the end of the season.
They played against the Buccaneers and they almost won that game.
Yeah, and they beat Seattle. That offense. So
they beat Russell Wilson.
So it's.
Hey, Russell, you won't lose in Chicago.
You won't lose to the Giants in Chicago. Oh, wait, you might.
No, you won't.
They also signed Kevin Zeitler, a guard, another good just guard in the league. And also, Kenny Golladay might be going there. We'll see in the next few days. He's
obviously going to the Bears.
He's obviously going to sign with the Bears, but if he doesn't feel like signing with a good team, he can go to the Giants. I think their wide receiver core is very bang average. I think
Saquon Barkley's coming back next year.
Saquon Barkley's going to be back next year.
If he doesn't get injured.
Offensive Player of the Year. Yeah, I think Kenny Golladay would be huge for Daniel Jones. A good guy with just a big catch radius like that. Throw it up to him. when you're in a pinch. Instead of fumbling the ball, fumble it towards him, I guess.
Fumble master.
So, yeah.
All right.
Next division. NFC South.
The Saints.
The Saints.
Oh, the Cap Hell Saints.
Oh, no.
They're stuck down there. They can't get out. They
scrambled out of it, though. What'd they do, Jason? What do they do?
All right. Big news. Drew Brees has officially retired after 20 years. 20 years?
20 years in the NFL, 15 years with the Saints. To the exact day. He was waiting.
That's awesome.
He was waiting for that day to say that he played for 20 years. He played with the Saints for 15 of those years.
He had a great career.
Hall of Fame.
Won one Super Bowl, which is not enough. But
First ballot Hall of Famer. I really thought he was going to win another Super Bowl in that 2018 year with Slant Boy catching 100 and some yards.
Then you had the Rams game.
Yeah, that was... that was a lot of their money. They got to spread his contract out for the next foreseeable future. He'll be getting small payments from the Saints for a very long time.
Yep. Jameis Winston resigns for a 1-year deal.
We'll see what happens with the quarterback
I think he's
position.
going to be the starter.
Do you think so?
He's better than Taysom Hill.
You think Jameis Winston better than Taysom Hill?
Yes. Hopefully he learned more from Drew Brees.
And just that quarterback room, Sean Payton.
Taysom Hill got extended too. It was like a
really weird contract.
It was like $140 million, but none of it is guaranteed.
None of it's guaranteed. The last 2 years are avoidable, and the first 2 years are pocket change. Yeah. So it's really weird, but very team friendly. I mean, that's Taysom Hill, man. He's a really good dude. Team friendly contract.
Emmanuel Sanders got cut.
Okay, let's talk about all the cuts. Who did they cut? Emmanuel Sanders, wide receiver.
Jenkins.
Janoris Jenkins. They cut Jared Cook.
Trey Hendrickson walked.
Oh, Trey Hendrickson, edge rusher. He cut. And they got Quan Alexander. He also got cut. So who'd they re-sign? Let's talk about some good news here instead of them losing their whole team.
Oh, Jordan Cooks walked to...
Jared Cook,
Jared, not Jordan.
Jared Cook.
Big Brian, not here. I'm sorry.
Who'd they re-sign, Jason? Who'd they re-sign?
They franchise tagged Marcus Williams, safety.
Okay, that's a good move. I like that.
They got Ryan
Ramczyk, their right tackle. He's a really good right tackle. I'm glad they got a long-term deal worked out with him.
Marshawn Lattimore got re-signed.
Another corner.
Long-term deal. Both are long-term deals.
Marshawn Lattimore, Mike Evans' father, you might know him as.
Mike Evans.
He's just a good corner. Good, solid...
Tight end. Wait.
Tight end. Corner. All right, yeah. So the Saints dug themselves out somehow like they always do.
They're not...
I don't think they're under the cap anymore. I think.
Let me check.
I think somehow they got.
Talk about the Buccaneers.
All right, Buccaneers. How'd they do it?
I don't understand.
They're bringing them all back. They franchise tagged Chris Godwin.
Good move.
He deserves a long-term deal somewhere, but I imagine he wants to run it back with them. But good move this year because none of the wide receivers got paid this year, so we'll see. We'll see what happens in the years to come. I hope he gets a long-term deal somewhere, but it's a good move for Chris Godwin. Shaq Barrett, sack master, edge rusher. He signed a long-term deal there. They brought back Levante David, and they also brought back Brady. They extended him. Took a little pay cut, as he always does, to help his team out. So, the Buccaneers...
They're still over the cap by $1 million.
Okay, but that's doable.
Yeah, that is doable.
Compared to the $50 million that they were.
Brady
the Saints we're talking about just then, they are under the cap, or almost under the cap.
They got $1 million.
$1 million. They got to spread that out just a little bit more.
Yeah,
a little more number crunching, but okay, talk to me. Are the Buccaneers running it back?
They're probably going to win a Super Bowl.
They're going back to back. Buccaneers are.
Brady reworked his contract. I don't know if you talked about that, right?
That was the last thing I mentioned. Everyone.
Yeah.
That's Tom Brady, though. I mean, he's just the ultimate team player. He doesn't care about money anymore. He just wants to win.
I got one thing written down for the Falcons. I don't know if I just didn't do much research or what, but Alex Mack walked. He's gone.
He signed with the
49ers.
Cardinals.
49ers.
Niners, was it?
Niners.
I believe he signed with the Niners. Was one of those two.
Keep talking about him.
Alex Mack, just a good center.
Yeah, Niners.
Okay, he signed with the Niners. He's a good center. It's hard to lose someone like that, but you're not going to pay him a crazy amount. And I believe they were had some issues with the cap space, so they didn't really have a lot of money to pay other people. They're paying Matt Ryan and Julio Jones a lot of money right now, so they're just going to kind of probably ride it out for another year. They got the number 4 overall pick. It'll be interesting to see what the draft looks like. We'll probably talk about that when it gets closer to draft time. It's only March, so we got a little bit more time till the draft. But
all right.
Next team, Panthers.
I got 2 things written down. So.
they didn't do much. They lost a few pieces.
Harris Redrick, edge rusher.
Hassan Reddick, their edge rusher from Cardinals. He enjoyed a nice little breakout year last year. I think he's getting overpaid with the Panthers, but
Denzel
Perryman, inside linebacker. He signed just a solid starting linebacker. He'll probably start there, but other than that, the Panthers didn't really do much. It's not a very splashy team in free agency as of now.
Don't they have a lot of like young talented players on that roster?
Their defense especially. Their defense is really, really young.
They're probably gonna draft a quarterback too.
I think they're sitting at number 8 right now.
Kyle Trask.
with Teddy Bridgewater right now, he's a bridge quarterback. It's in his name, so we'll see.
That was it for the NFC.
Right. Yes, NFC is completed.
We're gonna take a short break.
All right.
I'm cold. I gotta go get my jacket. We're on the porch. That's pretty exciting.
Yes.
We'll be back in like 2 seconds for you, but like an hour for you guys. We are back. I got my wings.
He's got some leftover wings from Buffalo Wild Wings today. Jason, how are the wings doing?
Let me try.
He's trying out his wings.
Oh. ASMR now.
ASMR. We're doing a mukbang now.
Now we got some breaking news.
Breaking news. A couple players just got signed. We're about to talk about the AFC right now, so we'll talk about the NFC. A couple moves happened there.
Running back Chris Carson is re-signing with Seattle on a 3-year deal. $24 million. That voids 2 years.
All right. Good deal. I like her. They paid a lot for him. It seems like paying running backs is, for me, never a great idea. Look at Zeke this year, but I guess. I mean, good for them. I had Chris Carson last year in fantasy, and I won the league, so it must be good. They also, more breaking news as we were recording, Anthony Harris, who I just had a long ramble about, signed with the Eagles, 1 year, $5 million deal. Really cheap for a good quality safety like that.
Yep.
It's never a bad idea, so good on them. That's a really good signing for them, I think.
All right, let me get the notes out.
All right, AFC time.
AFC. We're going to start with the
Best team in the AFC.
Baker Mayfield and the Browns.
Baker Mayfield and the Browns.
My personal favorite quarterback.
Progressive. The commercials.
Better than State Farm.
Better than State Farm commercials. We're talking to you, Aaron Rodgers.
Discussing Aaron Rodgers.
And Patrick Mahomes, Kermit. Baker Mayfield's acting is almost as good as his ability to throw the football.
Which is perfect. He never perfect quarterback.
Like 100% on the throwing footballs.
Yeah.
And it's like 97% on his acting.
Exactly.
Like he deserves Grammys, he deserves Oscars.
He deserves everything.
Yeah. So
best QB in the league.
The Browns. They went to the playoffs this year. Awesome for them. What'd they do to get better?
They signed John Johnson III, safety.
Excellent signing by the Browns. This is probably one of the best offseason moves, if you ask me. He's an excellent safety. I really wish the Rams had kept him, but he's going to like the 3rd best team in the league. So, cool.
For some reason, I have Mark Ingram on here.
Mark Ingram's the Ravens, but that's all we did for the Browns. So the Ravens, we're moving on to the Ravens. Mark Ingram was let go. He didn't really.
Troy Hill.
Oh, Troy Hill, tight end. He signed with the Browns. Another good weapon for Baker Mayfield to throw to. He makes everyone look good, so, that's cool.
Baker's the best.
Baker's the best.
I love him so much.
Clearly,
I have socks of Baker.
We're clearly not biased whatsoever towards Baker Mayfield. He's just a top 1 quarterback in the league, so, yeah.
Obviously, Tom Brady who? Yeah, Baker freaking Mayfield.
Patrick Mahomes is overrated. It's all about Baker. So, yeah.
We get Steelers, and the big one is that Big Ben is staying.
Big Ben is staying in Pittsburgh. They also re-signed Juju, so a lot of their offensive pieces come back. They let Bud Dupree walk, which is good. I don't think that he deserved a crazy amount of money. He definitely deserved to get signed somewhere, but he was asking a lot of money, edge rusher money, top edge rusher money, and he's not that. He's a Robin to a Batman, much like to Jadeveon Clowney, so we'll see what happens.
Dwayne Haskins signed there, too. Cheap deal, I mean...
the backup spot. Hopefully, maybe he learns something from that weird Pittsburgh locker room about making TikToks and dancing on logos. I don't know if it's the best move for them. He needs to mature. He made a lot of really clumsy, stupid moves last year when it comes to maturity, and it just... I don't think Pittsburgh is the place for him to learn. So, that's me.
Bengals. AJ Green walks.
AJ Green walked. This is a good move. This is a good move for them, I think. I don't think signing AJ Green would have been a great idea. He's familiar with the system, but I think it's time to move on.
Draft. Didn't they just draft someone too?
T. Higgins, kind of a stud, if you ask me.
He had a good year. I think he had a good year.
He had a very good rookie year.
Joe Burrow comes back.
Joe Burrow is going to be back. He's going to be healthy. Woo! Yeah, a lot of players are coming back this next year.
Joe Burrow's great.
Joe Burrow's a stud.
Not as good as Tyler Heineke, though.
Taylor Heineke. It's like, we'll talk about our quarterback rankings.
We'll do that at the very end.
Okay, we can do that at the very end.
We'll do that at the very end because if we're going to do mine, because mine is perfection. Nothing wrong with mine.
His is undisputable.
William Jackson lost.
We lost William Jackson. They lost
William Jackson.
Carl Lawson, an edge rusher. William Jackson, we already talked about him. He signed with another team.
Riley Leaf. Not Riley.
Riley Reif. He just signed with the Bengals. Offensive lineman. Got to beef up that O-line for Joe Burrow. We don't want him getting hurt again.
Beef it up anymore. I'm going to be mad.
And quick note on the Ravens. They lost... who was it? Mark Ingram, running back, aging. I'm not surprised. He didn't see a lot of the field last year, and he was getting paid a good amount. They signed Kevin Zeitler, a good guard. I like J.K. Dobbins a lot, so I'm not surprised that Mark Ingram walked. But, yeah, so next division, AFC West.
Woo! Let's start with the
Kansas City Chiefs.
A lot
Super
of
Bowl losers.
Super Bowl losers.
Patrick Mahomes ran for his life throughout the whole Super Bowl.
What'd they do to help him, Jason? I imagine they did so much to help out Patrick Mahomes. They needed so many offensive linemen. What'd they do, Jason?
They cut Eric Fisher. Good move.
Great move by them.
Not only that,
they cut Mitchell Schwartz.
Oh, yes.
Let's hear it.
Sorry, we should have warned you about the loudness of those claps, but obviously we disagree with some of the moves that the Chiefs are doing.
Let's make Patrick Mahomes run even more.
So tell me.
What's that?
They got rid of these players. What'd they do? Give me something positive here.
Kyle Long, former Chicago Bears, signed. Yeah, he's probably a backup.
He's a guard, maybe a rotational guard. I don't know how much an offensive lineman gets rotated in, but he might start at tackle there. He might start at guard. Someone might kick out to tackle. I don't know their offensive linemen too well, like I do the Bears, but we'll see. They also signed Joe Thuney from the Patriots. I know that. Good move. Who else signed there?
I'm eating. Why'd you ask me a question?
Oh, sorry. Sammy Watkins is the last question mark with the Chiefs. Does he want to re-sign with the Chiefs and try and run it back to the Super Bowl? He already won one. Does he want money? Does he want to stay with the team he already knows? He took a very team-friendly deal last year, so we'll see if he's looking for more money or looking to win.
The problem is that the wide receiver market is
dead. So I wouldn't be surprised.
The fact that Kenny Galladay hasn't re-signed with anybody yet, and it's taken
the top wide receiver free agent besides Allen Robinson, but he's franchise tagged. So let's go. We're hanging on to Robinson.
We got the Chargers up next on the list.
They really beefed up that O-line, which
I'm so excited for the Chargers next year.
Which makes me happy for Herbert.
Justin Herbert is going to be a stud next year behind this O-line.
He's going to be better. He's going to be stronger.
Tell me, what O-line?
Hopefully he has a better haircut.
What O-lineman did they sign there?
Corey Linsley.
Corey Linsley, the center from the Packers. He's leaving the NFC. Woo! He's going to the Chargers. He's out of here.
The fact that he left the Packers is good enough.
But he's out of the NFC. Corey Linsley, stud. He deserved the money. I'm happy that he signed with the Chargers. Beef up that line. Who else signed? Hunter Henry. He walked.
He signed
Unfortunately,
with the Patriots.
They didn't have the money to sign him. We'll talk about the Patriots in a minute.
We'll talk about that later.
But Hunter Henry is a really good player. Unfortunately, they couldn't hang on to him.
Flyer? Matt Fleer?
O-lineman.
Is he good?
I imagine he's a starter. it was worth writing down. So there we go. Jared Cook. Serviceable tight end. He replaces Hunter Henry. Not as good as Hunter Henry can be.
Yeah, off and on year
last year. He's a good blocker. He's a good receiving option. Very, very cheap. I remember he signed for like pocket change.
Yep.
So that's the NFL now. Next team in the division, Broncos. Philip Lindsay, their breakout running back, undrafted breakout running back. He walked, unfortunately. I like him a lot. We'll see what happens at the running back position there with Melvin Gordon. I doubt it.
They're definitely drafting a QB. I won't say definitely drafting.
We'll talk about the draft. We'll talk about the draft in a different episode. But Philip Lindsay walks. They tagged Justin Simmons. Excellent move. I hope they can get a long-term deal worked out with him. As of now, I don't believe that they have. But
let me check.
Actually, I might be wrong there because it sounds kind of correct that they have a long-term deal with him. Shelby Harris was re-signed, a good defensive lineman.
Yeah, they reached a deal.
Oh, sweet. What'd they do?
4 years, $61 million.
Deserving. Justin Simmons is probably one of the best safeties in the league. And they reached a $4 million deal, or $4 million, 4-year, $60 million deal. So that's fun. They also let Jarrell Casey walk, which isn't a great move. He's a very good.
But now they got Justin Simmons instead.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know.
I'm not sure how much money they have left over, but we'll see. Patriots time.
Oh boy, did they?
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Raiders.
The Raiders. There's one more team in that division. The Raiders. They cut Rodney Houston.
Their O-line is gone.
They have. I don't know what they're doing, honestly. The O-line doesn't exist anymore. They signed Kenyon Drake to a 2-year deal to compete with Josh Jacobs.
That's not a good move.
That's not a good move.
Josh Jacobs had a good year, didn't he?
Yeah. I mean, their O-line was already battered up last year, and to just not have any of those guys back this year is not a great move.
What are they making space for?
I don't know. Were they over?
They might have been over. That might have been it.
Marcus Mariota, they cut him. He kind of had a breakout game last year, so we'll see where he signs. I love him on the Bears, so we'll see.
We'll see.
They signed John Brown, wide receiver. He came from the Bills. Speedy threat, another speedy guy next to Henry Ruggs. And they let Nelson Aguilar...
Henry Ruggs go fast.
Henry Ruggs does go fast.
Nelson Aguilar walks.
Nelson Aguilar, he walked away. Enjoyed a nice little breakout year last year.
He did play really good, didn't he?
Yeah, he was a stud last year.
I don't know why they didn't... Probably because they were over.
I'm not sure if they had the money. All right, AFC East time. Patriots.
Oh, boy.
Here we go.
The second Tom Brady left, they're like...
Bill Belichick said...
Let's get some weapons.
Yeah, let's get some offensive help here.
Hunter.
Hunter Henry.
I got it
tight
backwards.
end. He signed. Who else did they sign?
Jonnu
Smith. Tight end. He signed.
Apparently Cam Newton's... I've been told Cam Newton is taller than both of them.
He's bigger than both of his tight ends.
Source, Dylan.
Source, me, and the internet. Matt Judon, edge rusher, he signed. We got Kyle Van Noy. He returns to the Patriots. We got Cam Newton.
This one came to me a surprise.
What, Cam?
I was not expecting them to re-sign Cam.
Cam's a stud. I think he's still got some years left in him. I think that...
I thought his shoulder just didn't look up to par. Which wouldn't surprise me because he's had so many injuries over the past years.
Yeah, he's super injury prone.
He didn't get injured this year because he was getting COVID.
He got COVID, and then after COVID, something changed. They were doing really well before he got COVID, and then after he got COVID, it just...
And they were just banged up, and a lot of players opted out.
A lot of players opted out of the Patriots, so I think they're going to be back this year. They'll probably be in the playoffs.
Of Nelson Aguilar, guess where he signed?
He signed with the Patriots. Nelson Aguilar. They also signed Patrick Chung. Or no, I'm sorry, he didn't sign him. He retired. Patrick Chung retires their safety, so they'll be looking for a safety. They drafted Kyle Duggar last year. I remember that. He was a good, strong safety, kind of linebacker safety hybrid. So we'll see where that brings. They signed veteran cornerback Jalen Mills from the Eagles, which is probably why the Eagles are going after cornerbacks right now.
Kendrick Blaine?
Oh, I don't know. They signed Trent Brown, which is a good Kendrick Bourne.
They had Kendrick
Bourne,
that's right.
kind of a breakout wide receiver from the 49ers. Signs with the Patriots. I feel like he kind of got overpaid.
The Patriots had a lot of money to overpay.
They had a lot of money, so it's good for him. I think the Patriots are beefing up.
We're gonna have a Patriots Buccaneers Super Bowl, aren't we?
Belichick versus Tom Brady.
Then again, the AFC is stacked now with the Bills.
The AFC is very stacked right now. I think that division is going to be kind of a race between the Bills and the Patriots and the Dolphins. Mm-hmm. Ooh, that'll be fun. We'll see how Tua does next year.
Okay. I gotta break this news.
Okay, here we go. The Bills, they signed Emmanuel Sanders.
All right.
They re-signed Matt Milano.
Emmanuel Sanders. We're talking about our boy, the MVP.
Nickelodeon Most Valuable Player.
Mitchell Trubisky.
Whoa!
Former Bears quarterback. Yeah.
Yeah.
2.5 mil.
Best backup in the league.
One of the best backups in the league, yes.
They also, like I said, signed Emmanuel Sanders, another really good weapon.
Not as good as Trubisky, obviously.
Yeah, Trubisky can catch the ball so well. Emmanuel Sanders, he signs. That brings that wide receiver core above elite to me.
Crazy.
Stephon Diggs, you got Cole Beasley, you got breakout star Gabe Davis from last year. He's a rookie. And now you got Emmanuel Sanders. That's crazy. You got to spread the wealth there. Don't draft any Bills receivers in your fantasy team.
Matt Milano's
linebacker. He extended his contract. That's good for him. He's a good player. That defense took a little setback last year, but hopefully they can rebound a little bit.
They probably will rebound. I
believe in them. Dolphins time.
The swimming Dolphins. That's what I'm going with.
Okay. What happened with the Dolphins?
They got a wide receiver, which I know they were not desperate for one, but they
definitely needed a good other wide receiver besides Devontae Parker.
They lost the Magic.
They lost the Magic. The beard. They lost the beard. It's Tua's show to run.
As of right now, it's Tua's show.
As of now, it's Tua's to lose. So we'll see what happens with Tua.
Jacoby Brissett signs. He's a good veteran.
Nice, good veteran backup, hopefully to mentor Tua a little bit.
Not as good as Fitzpatrick.
Not as good as Fitzpatrick. Not as good as Trubisky either. But he's
wrong way.
Wrong way. I'm flipping the notebook the wrong way. Oh goodness.
The Jets. They had a busy offseason.
Keelan Cole. They signed a couple wide receivers. We'll just get through them quick. Keelan Cole from the Jaguars. He signed there. And Corey Davis, breakout star from the Titans. He also signed with the Jets.
Yes.
Is this good for Sam Darnold, or is this good for Zach Wilson, or is this good for Justin Fields?
Probably Wilson and Fields.
You don't think they're hanging on to Darnold?
I don't think so.
All right.
I'd prefer Darnold over Dalton. Give me Darnold.
See, we have the Bears' best interest in mind, not the Jets.
Okay. We'll have Nick Foles, Andy Dalton, and Sam Darnold.
Yes.
Best QB locker room. Carson Wentz. Oh, wait.
Okay, we're moving on. About the Colts. Next division, AFC South, the Colts.
I'm too excited.
The big move. Carson Wentz, he's coming to Indy.
Reich. He's reuniting.
Reuniting with Frank Reich, his offensive coordinator from his MVP caliber season before he got hurt. I really think it's going to work out. I think a good change of scenery will be good for them. I'm surprised the Colts aren't more in for Kenny Golladay because if you remember, Carson Wentz was super good with Alshon Jeffrey. Mm-hmm. Alshon Jeffrey and Kenny Golladay sound very similar to me. Big jump ball, good catch radius, throw it up to him, they're going to bring it down every single time.
Yep.
So I'm surprised the Colts haven't pursued him more. That was kind of one of my big landing spots for Kenny Golladay, but maybe they're going to go.
Obviously, he's going to come to the Bears.
Yeah. So
Bears.
Kenny Golladay is going nowhere but Chicago. He just wants to play the
Titans.
Twice. Titans. They let Corey Davis walk. They signed Bud Dupree, edge rusher. I think they overpaid for him. He's more of a Robin to a Batman, and the Titans have no one to pass rush. So if they're going to bring back Jadeveon Clowney, maybe that'll help.
Are they finally going to get some pass rush?
No. I mean, Bud Dupree, he's taken on one guy every single time, and there's really no one valuable on the Titans to double up on a
They could always draft someone.
Yeah.
I don't know how many good pass rushers are in this draft. So.
Yeah. We'll talk about the draft in another episode.
I know nothing about the draft besides the quarterbacks and some wide receivers.
And then
Jaguars. They had a decent offseason.
Ooh, yeah.
Jack Griffin signed.
Shaquille Griffin, solid
nailed it.
corner. from the Seahawks. He signs. He splits up with his brother. The twins, they split up, but Marvin Jones Jr., wide receiver from the Lions.
Is he good?
Solid number 2 option, a crafty little veteran.
For Trevor Lawrence.
For Trevor Lawrence to throw to. They got a lot of
Jenkins.
good wide receivers in Jacksonville.
Rashawn Jenkins signed safety.
Rashawn Jenkins, safety, signed there. Okay.
All right, and probably the best piece of news they could receive, Roy Robinson Harris of the Chicago Bears.
Roy Robertson Harris, he signed. He got a big deal. He deserves the money. I'm not happy he's leaving Chicago, but I'm happy he's getting paid.
Heck yeah, my man.
Next team. Ooh. The Texans. The last team to talk about. The Texans.
Obviously, we're going to start with the quarterback, Deshaun Watson. He's in some hot water right now with all the allegations, but we won't.
A lot of sexual assault allegations.
We won't get too in deep into that.
Like 20 plus females are now accusing him. We don't know any details. It's kind of been tight-knit, so we'll see what happens with him. But he's probably going to get traded since they signed Tyrod Taylor.
He's coming.
Obviously,
coming to
Watson or
Houston?
Russell. Watson's coming to the Bears.
Yeah.
As long as he... hopefully he's innocent.
As long as he's innocent until proven guilty.
Yep.
He's going to be a Chicago Bear.
J.J. Watt
J.J. Watt leaves.
gets cut. He got cut technically.
Technically,
they released him.
They did release him. They cut the strings on J.J. Watt.
Ooh,
He's
boy.
with Arizona now. They
The
lost Will Fuller.
Texans must have loved signing old running backs because they got Mark Ingram.
we got a crazy running back duo in David Johnson and Mark Ingram. A couple of good washed up running backs.
Watson wants to leave the Texans?
I don't know. I don't know how he can want to leave the Texans.
That sounds like a dream come true.
So yeah,
like you were saying, Will Fuller.
He's gone.
He walked away. Where'd he sign again?
Will Fuller signed with the Dolphins.
That's right.
And Tyrod Taylor, Mr. Punctured Lung, he's going to Houston, I guess. I don't know. Is he going to start there? Is it going to be?
Oh,
Deshaun
is that
Watson?
it?
Tyrod Taylor, yes. That's it. We
did it.
just broke the 1 hour mark.
That's pretty epic.
That is pretty epic. All
Now
right.
we're going to talk about my totally accurate QB list.
This is Jason's top. How many? 4 or
5?
5?
We'll do 5.
Top 5 quarterbacks in the entire NFL. We're gonna wrap
right.
the show with this. No
All right.
controversy here,
Nope. Number 1, you got Baker Mayfield.
of course.
Number 2, you got Chase Daniel.
Oh,
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yes.
That's a big number 2.
He is.
Very controversial there.
He's amazing. Second best QB in the league.
Second best QB.
At
obviously.
number 3, we got who was it? Tyler Bray.
Tyler Bray.
Yeah. If you don't know him, he's
If you don't know him,
Bears quarterback, and he's amazing.
If you don't know him, learn about him.
Elite.
elite quarterback.
At number 4, we got Tyler Heineke.
Taylor Heineke.
Heineke.
He saved the Washington
Almost
football
saved
team.
them.
Almost saved the Washington. Almost beat Tom Brady.
What a
He had him sweating.
Yes.
He had him sweating. He
Like,
was worried.
You saw.
When you put up 20-some points on the Buccaneers defense, that
He was like,
honestly, he performed better than Patrick Mahomes did. So, like, who's to say that Patrick Mahomes is better than Taylor Heineke?
Exactly.
Obviously not you. So that's number 4.
number
5.
5 is the boy Red Rifle up here in Chicago.
The Red Rifle.
He's up here in Chicago now. What a great quarterback.
right.
Totally better than Patrick Mahomes.
That's an excellent
Tom
top 5.
Brady. Who are these guys?
I don't know who these guys you're talking about.
Who's
are.
Tom Brady? Never heard of him.
Never.
Andy
Alright.
Dalton is where it's at. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We're gonna end it off with that great
Excellent
list.
tier list. Excellent tier.
Nothing's better
That's
than
just
okay.
that's like S tier, S plus tier.
That was
is
a little
your
fun
top 5.
side thing.
All right.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching.
Dylan still smells
I still smell.
and is less cooler.
Leave a like. Hit that subscribe button. And we'll see you next Friday.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know.